We're live once again. Hello, welcome back. We're going to be jumping into our TerrafirmaGreg world once again. Mm. Oh, lots of fun stuff going to be happening today. We're going to be trying a lot of stuff. I got a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. We'll go over it in a little bit once people start filtering into the live stream. Okay, I'm just checking to refresh my stream preview. Sometimes the stream manager doesn't really act proper, but yeah, because it's there we go. Okay. It was showing 0 viewers, but I know that's a lie because I count as a viewer. I'm one of my biggest fans because I'm always here to watch myself. But that's not true. I've got some pretty big fans too, that I love just as much as I love myself, which is a lot. So, like I said, let's talk about a little bit about what some of our plans are here while we wait on an audience. So, Um, plans are to do something. We got to finish out this area over here. And I was thinking about something last night after stream, and that's that we're going to need to build up that create area a little bit sooner than I had thought, because we're going to, and I probably will, I'm probably am going to like bring this in a bit more. So we are going to need more of this wall, but we're gonna need that create area because we need this coke oven. And while the coke oven isn't technically a part of create, it's going to be making our fuel that we use to power our steam boilers. We're gonna want to run liquid boilers, mostly because I don't want to deal with the logistics of shoving coal into these things. But the coke oven will continuously supply our our steam ovens with our steam boilers with fuel. So if we once we get that set up, we'll be able to start running some of our steam machines. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take something like this back area here, and let's see how much I can get from here. Not as much as I was hoping. I think it will have to come from this direction. Okay. So we'll probably plot out a little area for a steam boiler room, and then on the other side, we'll pump that steam into another room. Well, we'll figure some stuff out. The one thing I do need is I need some more limestone, and I need more mortar, because our limestone for our flooring, we don't have enough. So we're probably going to go destroy another boulder. Okay, we don't have any queens in here yet. So these guys haven't had a time to reproduce. I don't know if they do during the rain, or at least if they're outside. I don't know if they do in the rain in general, though, which would change a few things once we got our greenhouse going. But until then, I need things. Why do I just have this loaf of bread? I guess I didn't finish making that. Okay. I need sand for mortar. We're going to make another batch of mortar, and we're going to go collect some limestone to finish out the floors over there. Okay. Pretty sure we took care of the animals before we ended stream, so we're just going to ignore them. I don't think we're going to be having any more alpacas. There's quite a few alpacas in our pasture now, so I don't think that we're going to try and have any more alpacas. I'm pretty sure the 2 female alpacas we had are going to give birth eventually, and will give us even more alpacas, and I think that'll be more than enough alpacas. But what we do need is some more cows. So let's go out here. Oh man, I meant to grab some water before I left, like water in the game, but I can as long as it's raining. Oh, look, the moon's here. But as long as it's raining, I can just look up and refill my thirst meter. We've got sandwiches on us right now, so we can't actually refill our thirst meter using uh, food. Those soups that we had before, we would be able to just eat the soup and it would give us some. Okay, we're in the limestone area, so let's go see if I can find another boulder. Because I was thinking about it, and I think the boulders are definitely like the easiest way to get a type of mineral or a type of stone that you want. Once we get... Ooh, I can fill my canteen here, or my flask. Once you get to the point where... Once we get a rock crusher, there's a... I don't know why it's called this considering its functionality, but the rock crusher can be used to... it's used to make rocks. Like, it's a rock crusher, so you think it would be like some kind of thing with like processing rocks. But no, it makes rocks. And so once you get a rock crusher going, we can just have it generate whatever type of stone we want. And that'll be really helpful for when we want to do like building with stone. And, you know, for a long time I was kind of like, I don't think stone is that good of a building material because like, you know, you have to do the whole thing where you have to use a chisel and like chisel the bricks and then use the mortar. But out of like a lot of the materials that we have access to at this stage, it's one of the better ones. Because I mentioned this before, I used to like the idea of like the mud bricks, especially because I really like the way that the silt loam mud bricks that we tend to have. I really like the way that those look, but they only make one block of bricks for each crafting recipe. And the stone bricks make four. So they're four times as effective for basically the same work. And honestly, if you are going to like do any mining in a layer that has a certain type of stone, you're probably going to end up with way more than you could really know anything to do with anyways. And I actually really like that this boulder that we found seems to be made out of pure cobblestone instead of normal stone because it drops in these blocks that we can turn into four stone each instead of just having to carry the loose rocks. Okay, getting some more cobblestone. We're going to try to mine this whole boulder while we're here. And especially since it's all cobblestone, I think we will end up being able to get the whole boulder without filling up our inventory. And this should give us more than enough to make our, what's it called? Make our, to finish our floor in that area. And we're probably going to be using some more because we're going to have another, we're going to be using this limestone for some other building parts. Oh, sorry about that. I had to sneeze. And this time I managed to hit the mute button properly this time. Oh, I think maybe it's because, so this room doesn't get used a whole lot when I'm not streaming. This is my main, like, I have this room for my computer, and it's kind of being turned into, like, an office space, I guess, at this point. It's also what I affectionately refer to as my workshop. Because you know, when you do stuff like this, when you play these kind of games, I think it's a certain kind of person that plays these types of games, and that kind of person is 100% willing to do this kind of stuff in real life as well as in a video game. Like, so I have a lot of tools and stuff for some specific things in my workshop. I've got like 3D printers and well, right now it's mostly 3D printers, but I promise I have other hobbies as well. So that's that whole boulder. I want to reorganize my inventory a bit and eat some sandwiches. Delicious wheat bread sandwiches. I don't remember what's on them, but I'm not. I think it's like I think it's literally just tomatoes. But that's okay. I think like just tomatoes is probably there's definitely people who eat just tomatoes on a sandwich. Obviously, maybe with a little bit of seasoning, like a little bit of mayonnaise and some salt and pepper would make a real good sandwich. But see, okay, I'm up here now. Um, I need to clear out some of this so it stops falling onto the path. But yeah, it's going pretty good over here with our rocks and everything. I don't remember what I was talking about. Something about sneezing. Who knows? Hmm. But we also have, oh yeah, a workshop and stuff. Yeah. So like I've got um I think it gets like I think it's like dusty in here. So like I or like something that causes me to sneeze. So, like the thing is had so like I have my computer in here and I do play a lot of other games as well. But ever since I started streaming, I kind of like just use the computer for streaming at this point. Not to say that I'm not still playing some games on the side. Okay, this dead squash. Can I get more seeds? No. Unfortunate. Okay, so we'll just have to wait for these tomatoes to grow to get some more vegetables. I should have probably collected that squash earlier, but I was kind of hoping it would die and give me more seeds, but it died and just didn't give me any more seeds. So here's the thing. Um, it's not to say that I've stopped gaming as much. It's just that I bought a Steam Deck a while back, and honestly, it's been one of the best purchases I've made. It was pretty expensive, I won't lie. It's a little bit out of the reach for people if you already have like, I wouldn't like necessarily recommend it if you're tight on money, because it is such an expensive thing. But having the handheld is really nice because I can go other places and play my games. Okay, okay, hold on. If I take 32, and so that'll make that. I need 10. I need enough for 10 stacks of bricks. See, this is the issue. That it takes so many of these to make a full stack. But when you make a full stack, you get quite a bit out of it, and all it's really costing you is the chisel. Yeah. But like I'd say I'm pretty lucky to be able to have to be in the position to afford something like that, even though I was kind of using up some of the money I had saved up, but I thought it would be a good investment, and honestly, it kind of was. The Steam Deck is a really nice. Okay, so that should be two of these. Steam Deck's a really nice device. Um, I know they just announced like the Switch 2 coming out, but I don't know if I'm gonna end up buying a Switch 2. I have an original Switch, but I don't know if I'm gonna be willing to buy a second one, considering like a lot of the stuff Nintendo's been doing recently. I'm a real big fan of Pokemon. Is one of my favorite games, and man, the past few Pokemon games haven't really been that good. I mean, I think the games that have come out recently have been better than what some people have been saying. Some people say like Pokemon Sword and Shield are bad, and like the only thing they can really point to is those trees, which I'll be real, I didn't even notice when I was playing. I didn't notice the trees had like a low resolution texture because like I don't particularly care. And like Sword and Shield had all of its own problems, and I didn't really like the way that they started doing like the DLC with the Pokemon games, starting with that. But Sword and Shield was a pretty fine game. I think it was pretty fun as far as like Pokemon games go. I thought that Dynamax was a pretty fun mechanic, and I don't get why people didn't like the Gen 8 Pokemon games, but I got Pokemon Violet, and while I think a lot of the mechanics and everything are cool, like they added a lot of really nice quality of life things to Gen 9 Pokemon, but man, was that game rough on launch. And I wonder if it's partially because like I have an old Switch, like one of the original versions before they did like the processor updates and everything. And I kind of wonder if like some of it was because of the Switch that I had just not really being able to handle it. But like, man, it was a little disappointing playing that game. I have like a little clip on my Switch somewhere of like sitting in one of the classes in the game and it was lagging. And there's like maybe 15 models on the screen and it was lagging. And I don't know, because of stuff like that, it makes me not really, I mean, not really hopeful for like what future games are going to be like. I know the new Pokemon Legends game that's based in Kalos is coming out, and honestly, I am kind of excited for that despite everything because it's a fun region, like the Gen, what was that, Gen 6? It was the Kalos region's a really fun region, and I really liked Mega Evolutions. They're kind of not the best competitively. I need more. It's okay. I've got more cobblestone on me. I can make more bricks. I can make another round of bricks. I should probably get some more mortar started then. But like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, fool me once, uh, shame on me. But okay, we need. Hold on. I need to do lime water. Um. Okay, so it's so I need 20 pieces of lime for a full barrel. So like, I'm just uh worried about them kind of burning us again because it's not like um the well, okay, I'll do the lime, I'll do the mortar in there and there's the lime afterwards. It's not like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was the only bad game they put out recently. It's just it was the bad mainline game, and like as much as I praise Gen 8 with Sword and Shield, I'll admit there's still quite a few problems wrong with those games. And so like if they had just released Pokemon Sword and Shield and then Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was really good, I probably wouldn't be like this. But considering they released Pokemon like Sword and Shield, I think like Scarlet and Violet drag like there's there's one case to be made about how it makes Sword and Shield look better, but I also think it makes everything else look so much worse because like Scarlet and Violet, well, Sword and Shield, like you can excuse a lot of the stuff wrong with Sword and Shield, but it's hard to deny that it kind of now has that legacy of being like the start of the decline for Game Freak and the Pokemon Company because they also released um what was it, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which I do have. I never ended up playing all the way through them. I really need to later because one of the things I was kind of working on was trying to have like a full living Pokédex, the one where you have like one of each species. Hold on, I need to focus because I need to remember why the heck I came over here. Oh yeah, fences. Um, where you have like one of each species, and I'm mostly working on that because I have so many Pokemon saved up, like built up from like over the many generations that I've been playing. And okay, hold on. We need one, two, three, four. So it's not even going like I'm pretty sure I'm not even missing that many Pokemon to get a full living dex. I have a good portion of them, but like I never managed to like play all the way through Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl because they just didn't really grab my attention as much. I think partially because like I did play the original Diamond and Pearl and Platinum and everything, but like uh BDSP was just like not really, it just didn't really have that feel of like being a remake or like being a good remake especially. I think like one of the best remakes they ever made was what was it called? Uh Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I loved the Gen 3 games though, so it might be some of my personal bias showing with that. But okay, what am I doing? I'm gonna need some scaffolding for this. I think I have a vision of what I want to do. I'm just kind of trying to mull it over in my head. But like I might have a slight bias towards Gen 3 because I really love the Gen 3 games, but I think a lot of people would agree that Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire were some of the best remakes that were ever made. Okay. So next thing I want to do. Okay, I have a plan. And I'm trying to determine if I should go up one more, if I should just do it here. I think I should just do it here. So, but like a lot of people didn't like the BDSP remakes. So, and I can't really fault them for it. They weren't really all that good. I think they were okay. I think some people give them a bit too much hate, but like considering the way that they were on launch, uh, maybe I am giving them too much credit. So like because of all that's going on with this, and this is just common what it's like to be a Pokemon fan nowadays. Okay, so if I put that there, see, like here's the thing, I don't want to do like the full block, so I think what I'll do is I think I'm gonna chisel these into slabs. I need to do that. I need my hammer, and we put the hammer in the offhand, and then let's see, what was the button to change? There we go. And I think it goes like this. There we go. Okay, cool. I'm gonna wait until after I have like a bunch of them put up to start doing that though. But the the issue is like it's hard to really get like hyped up for a new Pokemon game considering what's been happening recently and how like it just hasn't been very good recently. So like I really want to give the new Pokemon Legends game a chance considering like the previous Pokemon Legend games, Legends Arceus, was very good. I think it was one of their better games. Although there are still a lot of issues with it, just in like some of the ways that it does things. Because like mostly the controls, I will say, like the controls for Pokemon Legends Arceus are horrible. Like I don't know what they were thinking with some of these controls. It's been a while, so I don't remember much of them off the top of my head, but I remember like switching between the ride Pokemon was like crazy. Like the controls just didn't really make much sense for a modern game. And I think it's partially because like Nintendo and the Pokemon Company and whatnot, they're really bad about like not doing it, like not taking things from other video games sometimes. And I think that's part of the reason that drives their weird like how rabid they are about their intellectual property, which is like overall a bad thing, but at least with Nintendo you can kind of see where they're coming from a little bit. But like it also like really stifles them creatively as like there's a lot of times like especially with like controls, those are one of those things that like everything uh like controls are one of the big things that have gotten better over the years in gaming. The standardized controls that you have for a more modern game, and it's so crazy because you kind of look and see like what games kind of caused these shifts in what are known as like our standardized controls. Because um nowadays you'll have games like RPGs, like CRPGs, like Baldur's Gate and what was that other one? Really popular one, Rogue Trader. Games like that, they have extra when you're playing with a controller, they have like extra prompts, like extra button inputs where if you hold the button, it does something different than where if you just press it. And like that's something that you just don't really see in older games, and I think that it was partially informed by like mobile games. Like, you have the controls on a mobile game where you have to like do a long press instead of like a short one, and it changes some stuff because of like the limited controls available on a. Oh, I had some logs on me. The limited controls on a phone, and I think that kind of innovation is really cool to see. But Nintendo like doesn't really ever pay attention to stuff like that. They really want to be like independent and be all like we're Nintendo. We know what to do. We're we're the big name in video games and we've been doing this forever, so like why would we listen to anyone else? But it's like you're really just like hurting yourself by not looking at what other people do and taking inspiration from them. But I think it also makes a lot of sense considering how litigious they are over like their mechanics. Like going back to Pokemon, they they like tried to shut down Pal World over like over the Pokeball throwing mechanic, which is like I understand why some people think that Pal World is like copying from Pokemon, but man, the throwing Pokeball mechanic is like, come on. Like, I think there was an episode of Rick and Morty where they used a Pokeball, and like it was like pretty explicitly a Pokeball as well. But like it's one of those things where it becomes such a part of the cultural zeitgeist that how can you really argue that people are like you have complete sovereignty over that just that idea, you know? And I think this is one of those things where like I don't know, I don't think that Pokemon or like Pal World was really taking anything from Pokemon either. If anything, Pal World probably just made some people more hyped for certain Pokemon games and stuff because I don't know. It's just not. It's not Pokemon. It's more like people have said this. It's more like Ark, and that's part of the reason why I actually play Pal World. And part of the reason why I like Pal World is because it's like Ark. Because I also like playing Ark. It's I haven't played that game in forever, but it's kind of because like the developers for that game kind of went off the deep end with some stuff. I hear they have like paid. You have to like pay for specific or like certain they're not dinosaurs because they're not everything in the game is a dinosaur, but you have to pay for the different creatures that you can tame. And it's like that's kind of crazy. Like if you don't pay, the creatures are still in your game, but you just can't tame them. And it's like that's why would you sell me a game with like that kind of microtransaction is a little crazy. And you know, the funny thing is, I'm not even all that against microtransactions, depending on like how they're done. I think I mentioned League of Legends yesterday as well, but League of Legends is a pretty good example of how you can do a how you can have microtransactions in your game and have them be like actually pretty good because in League of Legends it's pretty much all just cosmetic stuff, and especially when they first introduced the or when they were first starting out, like skins were just purely cosmetic, and um there wasn't really any reason to ever buy the premium currency aside from skins. And I think that's a pretty good way of handling things because it means that people who really like your game and really like certain characters can kind of show their support for the game and the characters by spending money on skins for them. And I've definitely paid a lot of money to Riot over the years for some skins, but like I don't really feel like I wasn't forced to buy them. It was all my decision, and I feel like I got a pretty good value for what I paid for, even though I don't even play the game anymore. And they're just like little cosmetic things for little characters. But I think like that kind of microtransaction's fine because it's not like it doesn't give you any sort of like advantage, and it doesn't like it's not like you're forced into buying them. So I'll defend microtransactions in some cases, but in a lot of cases it's a little bit like some companies have gone a little bit too far with microtransactions. You know, like speaking of which, we're playing Minecraft. Like Minecraft has microtransactions nowadays if you play the Bedrock version, which you know, it's why I don't. But like, I don't know. It's kind of silly, especially when you consider like with Minecraft in particular, the microtransactions are just like things that you can do with mods anyways in Java version. I sincerely believe that if Microsoft had the opportunity, they would get rid of Java version as quickly as possible, but there would be like riots over that. I think they just don't like the fact that they can't really control what people do, and by control, I mean force them to pay for it. This is one of those things where, like, it's getting to the point where, like, we get back into those conversations about paying modders and, like, the way that uh, some companies, like CurseForge, and no, CurseForge wasn't the first one to start this. The first people that started this was Bethesda with their weird um, idea that they were going to force people to pay for mods through their creation club stuff, which I guess they did end up. And that wasn't like the first thing, because the first thing was just them saying that you're gonna have to pay for mods, period. But then people got all upset about it, rightfully so, and so they started doing. We need a lot more fence posts. They started doing the creation club, and a lot of people were upset about the creation club. I wasn't that upset about it. Like, you want to pay for your mods for some extra content, sure. Most of the creation club stuff wasn't even really like that good, and it was also pretty cheap. So I don't know. I tend to kind of look at it from both sides, because the other side of it is that, like, modders were able to start getting money for what they were doing, which I think is generally good. I kind of wish we had a system where, you know, I wish we had a system where people didn't necessarily need to, extract so much money in order to survive. I wish we had some better stuff for that. But, I understand the desire to want to make money off of that kind of creative work, because it's great when artists are able to support themselves off of their creative work. But the only other thing is, my only other issue with, like, those kind of systems, though, is that I wonder if the artists are really being given a fair amount for what they do, because I guarantee you that people like Bethesda and everyone else are probably making far more money off of the modders than they strictly have to. And, like, because that's the thing, like, the reason why Bethesda pushes for it so hard is so that they can skim that money off the top. But then again, it's not like people are going to really pay for mods directly, so you can't necessarily blame the modders for being in favor of it. Although it's crazy, because I grew up with the, like, Minecraft community and the what's it like, what are they called? What are those other games that I play that use mods? The Bethesda modding community with, like, Skyrim modding, and even places like World of Warcraft with their add-ons. Like, there's a culture of things like mods being free, right? People get real upset when anyone from, like, those communities I mentioned tries to, like, implement some sort of um paid mod system. But the thing is, it's surprisingly, I found out it's not like that among all modding communities. So it turns out The Sims they have a pretty strong modding community, and it's very different from what other modding communities are like, because, like, paying for mods with The Sims is like it's like the default. Like, you're expected to have to pay for the high quality custom content on The Sims, and they get upset if people try to give stuff away for free or try to imply that some of the mods should be free, which is, like, crazy how those two different communities can, like, come to different conclusions about the same thing. Although I wouldn't be surprised if part of the reason why the Sims community feels like that is because, let's be honest, the Sims kind of, like, they kind of fostered that idea that you should be paying in a pretty high amount for content, because The Sims is still, like, one of the most expensive games you can get into. Like, I think there's definitely some games, like any of the truck simulator games, and any of the um what's that other one? Like, Microsoft Flight Simulator as well is very expensive with their content. Um But I think the intention with those games is that you're not really supposed to be buying all of the content. Why did I not? I didn't finish this side. You're not supposed to be buying all of the content for like Flight Simulator and Truck Simulator. You're supposed to just kind of buy what you like the most. But I think with The Sims, you're kind of expected to buy all of the content. Mostly because like they lock like major oh heck. They lock um major game mechanics behind certain expansions. Like I think The Sims 4 didn't have babies until a certain expansion, and I don't know if they ever changed it to be where you could have babies if you didn't have that expansion, but it might be tied to the expansion. So but it's really interesting how the Sims community is perfectly fine with that level of monetization, whereas like other communities would completely riot and abandon their game if it ever tried to do something like that. Okay. Or okay, look at that. That's looking real nice so far. Okay, and then the idea is that we're going to put um we're going to do some kind of slabs. And I think what I want to do cuz we're going to have a second floor to this area, and I'm going to put slabs on the floor to make like a floor. I think I want to do treated wood. I think treated wood will also catch on fire, but I like to think that because it's treated, it's more fire resistant. So we're gonna do that, and what I need to do is I need to move some of my stuff up here for the forge. Let's go gather that stuff from downstairs. Oh, my jaw kind of hurts. I mentioned this yesterday that I was going to be doing this, but I had to go to the dentist today, and they had to do a real deep cleaning on my teeth. And bring these bricks with. I might as well bring these bricks with me. Yeah, they had me. They were scraping away at my teeth for like an hour, and I had to get like I had to get like the local anesthesia where they put the like gel on your gums and everything so that they could scrape away at my teeth. And it hurt a lot, and having to keep your mouth open like that for like a solid hour. Um, that poor dentist, because I like especially like halfway through the whole ordeal, I was starting to like lose the ability to like really keep up with her instructions. And so she had to keep like telling me to keep my mouth open and keep my tongue out of the way, but it was not a very pleasant experience. So my jaw still feels a little sore from being open the whole time. Okay, I think what we're going to do is I want to plot out an area for the blast furnace and the bloomery. So the blast furnace, I wonder if I can do a ponder or an outline for it. Blast furnace. Okay, I can. Okay, so I'm just going to put this down as like so I can get an idea of where it's going to go. See, the issue is so those bricks that it's showing need to be insulated with iron plates, and that kind of makes it so that the whole structure needs to be a little bit bigger than it shows. So instead of this much, let's do about that much. I'm trying to think of, actually, it probably wouldn't be, well, okay. Because of the way that I'm doing this area, I think we could get away with making it slightly different than this. But let's see. So how much space does this take up? This takes up a lot of space. But I could probably slot the bloomery in beside it. I don't know if I click the visualizer for the bloomery, it will get rid of it. But if I do, so let's say I put the bloomery something like here, right? Maybe we'll bring it forward a little bit more, because the thing is, like, I have to have the chimney for the bloomery exposed. And I think that's good because it'll look like it's in line with the blast furnace. Okay. Technically, I didn't have to do this part like I'm doing right now, but gonna. Okay, let's get rid of the visualization for the blast furnace and look at the bloomery. Okay, so it's... Come on, spin a little faster. Okay, yeah, so it's like that. It needs this area here. And then I can get rid of this part. Okay, so this is enough for the bloomery, but we're going to go up a couple more. Okay, and then bam. And our bloomery is going to need to be used before we end up using the blast furnace or putting the fence on or the roof on. So I'm going to put it like that. Okay. So this section will be like our iron and steel processing corner. And then I think we will... Let's see. Maybe I should put the anvil, or I could put the anvil in like a centralized location. Well, no, but I put the... I did 2 block wide here, so we're not going to do that. I think I'll put the anvil like over here. Anyways, yeah. My teeth feel really clean now, which is great. And I'm definitely going to be putting effort into maintaining my teeth better in the future so that I don't have to go through an ordeal like that ever again. It was not a very fun time, but you know, it's not like it was the dentist's fault. It was my fault for not taking better care of my teeth over the years. Okay, I'll put in there. I'll put these up. And it's real nice though, now that I've got my teeth all nice and taken care of. Okay, we need to make... So we're gonna have a charcoal forge as well. And I want to have a chimney for the charcoal forge, like a proper chimney. And where's our chimney for this one? So for this one, our chimney is 1, 2, 3, 4 in from the outer wall. So let's do like this. So that's 2, 3, 4. And that's where the chimney is supposed to be. Dig this out. The actual forge is going to be right here. Okay. And then we need... let's see. I'm trying to remember how to do this. Okay. So we're going to put our bricks down. And then this area needs to be... So the way that it works is... Okay, so any of these blocks that are represented by the blue glass need to be exposed to the sky. Any of these. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back a little bit and have that block. Oh, wait, but the chimney was supposed to be right there. Okay, hold on. Maybe I do bring this forward one more. And then those. And this. And then I think we'll place... I think actually we'll do the rhyolite. That we will put those there. And then something like this to make it look like the air is being forced out through this back area. And yeah, actually that looks pretty nice. Okay. What I can do... The charcoal forge itself can be covered. I kind of want to keep it covered so like I don't like walk onto it. And let's go ahead and remove bricks and replace them with rhyolite. Okay, something like this. I still want to be able to like reach in from the sides though, so I'm not going to cover the rest. Okay, so that should be good. I'll place the crucible over it. And what I can do... What if I did something like this? And what if... What if I chiseled this? Made it into some stairs that were... something like this. Come on, stairs. Need like that. Okay, I think that looks pretty nice. And then we'll put the anvil like right here maybe. Okay. All right, I think that looks pretty good so far. We'll be able to like, maybe we'll line the back here with like chests or stuff that we're going to use with the anvil. And then I need to go grab a water barrel. I'm gonna grab this water barrel here. Oh, you know what? That back area can be for metals. All the different types of the different bars of metals that we can have. That'd actually probably look real nice. And I'm gonna put this like right here, right behind. Maybe I should put it like right behind the anvil. Like right. Oops, that's the bellows. Ooh, speaking of which, I need to put those in position. Maybe I'll put them over here. I don't have to pump the bellows very often, so being able to reach in and grab metal from the... What am I carrying? Barrel? Okay. Yeah, something like this. Or maybe we'll move it... Move the quenching barrel, like, right there. I think that looks better. Okay, so our area for the forge is going good so far. This has the majority of the stuff moved up here, and I can move other stuff up here as we go. It is very hot during this time of year. It is late spring. We are on May 2nd. And the temperature... Yeah, the current temperature is 24°C. It's going to get pretty hot during the summer, so we do have to get a roof put on this place pretty soon. Okay. So, let's see what we can do. I'm gonna grab... I got some food. I got more KFC today. I tried their Nashville hot bowl that uses the French fries. It's actually really good. So, we need to get that crucible. Or not crucible. I've been looking for the crucible so long. I can't think of anything else. We need... Yeah, no, this Nashville hot bowl from KFC is actually pretty good. The seasoning they use is really good. And honestly, I don't know what changed because it didn't used to be like this with our local KFC. Our local KFC used to not like really have decent... It didn't have any good chicken. And God, I need to go organize this inventory before I do anything else. But like the chicken they did recently is like perfect. It's really good. Nice and crispy and juicy on the inside. Um, but like the seasoning they use for the Nashville hot chicken is actually pretty good. It was better than I was expecting it to be. The only issue is they have increased the price of their bowls by quite a bit. It's like actually a little bit expensive now to the chicken from them because these bowls are like was it like $8.50 I think I paid for this. They can't be that because I feel like we bought two of them and I feel like I only paid like $12 for. I don't remember. They're expensive though. Like I remember when these bowls came out and they only cost like $5 each. That was the big selling price for the bowls was that they were $5. But nowadays they just aren't. They are expensive. All right, I've been using palm lumber for the supports over here, so I'm just going to keep up with that. The um the issue with hold on, I gotta this is probably good enough. This is good enough. I've got enough inventory space now. I need to go get some more iron, which we have several places where we can find iron around here. I should probably collect. Do I have more palm? Yeah, if you're wondering what happened to the log pile that was back here previously, it got struck by lightning. It was there was so many things I could have done to prevent that from happening, but I didn't. Yeah, I it was pretty crazy too because it was like right at the end of one of my streams. I had like 5 minutes left in stream. I was like putting everything up to finish stream, and then like as I'm walking past that the back of my house, it just gets struck by a bolt of lightning. The whole thing immediately went up. It took out like it didn't take out as much of the house as I thought it would, but it did take out some of the house with it, and I had to replace it. Well, luckily it happened when I was literally right next to it, so I could take care of it. But yeah, we lost a lot of lumber in that, unfortunately. But that's okay. Trees are plentiful. They're all over the place. Oh, really? That's actually I hadn't considered that you could do that. I typically just throw torches on them when I'm trying to do it on purpose at least. I really like the fact that the log piles and the um what are they called? The pit kilns. I'm glad you can light those with torches. Using the fire starter is kind of a pain, especially when you have the stupid pot on the fire and you use up the last bit from your fire starter, so like it breaks and then your character, immediately tries to pull the pan off of the fire, the pot off of the fire. Oh, yeah, not good time. That's why anytime I have a fire starter that's down to its last bit of its last use, I always try and I just move it to the forge area and we just use it to start a charcoal forge instead of trying to start a cooking fire with it. Okay, there is oh heck, we're out of food again. I just have a single loaf of bread in my pot, my vessel. Oh god, what do I even have for food? I think I ate all those tomatoes. I'm actually pretty low on food types right now. I don't oh wait, I've got pumpkins, but I can make pumpkin soup. I can make some pumpkin soup. I've been trying to get more grains, but clearly I have enough of those. Let's check the actual numbers. Yeah, I'm full on only vegetables and grains. Um, I need I need to find soybeans is what I really need because I have just kind of not found any soybeans yet. I have more than enough pineapples though. So once we get a greenhouse going, we'll be full up on pineapples. I think my final number I'll go check it while the soup is cooking. But I think my final number of pineapples was like 43, I think. start that. And yeah, they're in my storage right now, and we can only pray to the gods that this place never catches fire. But uh I've stored them with saplings. Look at this. Yeah, 43 pineapple bushes. These are just what I found while I was looking for the kaolin clay and graphite. And yeah, I got lots of plans for those pineapple bushes. We're gonna put those in a greenhouse. It gets too cold here to grow the pineapples during most of the year. I probably could put them outside during the summer, and I might if we don't get the greenhouse built by then. But I want the pineapples. They'll feed us all the fruit that we could possibly ever want, and we can turn them into leather. I'll have infinite leather at that point. Okay, come on. I'm liking the way that this is coming along. I need to make some insulation for this top oven so I can remove these two countertops and put more stuff in the back. This is probably one of my favorite cooking areas I've made. Alright, that'll get us some fruit in our body. And since I have too many bowls, we'll just put some in here. I need to get some more racks for the back, especially. Actually, you know what? I can just put the bowls... I can put those other bowls over here. I had to specifically add the ceramic jugs and the bowls to items that could be put on the tool rack, but it's one of the best things I've done. Got around a compost has come in. The bees remove the need for the compost, but the compost is used for making the planters that we use in the greenhouse, so we do still need compost. Okay, I got these pumpkins. I got all sorts of fresh, uh, freshly rotten stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna need more. I'm gonna need more browns soon because I can process. I think I have some sugarcane I can process for some more browns. Yeah, I'm gonna need more. Yeah, we don't even have enough to do our whole round here. I know there's plenty of humus lying around in the forest. I'll have to make sure to collect some. And I think the cabbage is also going to count as a green. Okay. Yeah, we're going to need to get some more browns for our compost. Okay, but enough messing around. Let's go to the mines and see if we can scrape some iron off of the walls. Luckily, now that we have that crucible, it's so much easier to process our iron. And eventually, maybe we'll dig up this peat. Hello? What are you? Oh, it's a little gazelle. Well, he's trapped there forever. I might keep that guy around because I was talking yesterday about maybe making a zoo at some point. So we'll keep that guy on standby if we ever want to start a zoo. I could use the meat though. I am tempted. But I really want those soybeans. I swear I saw some on our island somewhere, but for some reason I just didn't collect them. I need to go specifically hunting for soybeans. Okay. Now we can go into the spook zone. Alright. Let's see if we can spot any spookies before we go down there. Alright. I'm not seeing any skeletons. Okay. Skeletons are our biggest issue. But I do have a hammer on me. Ah! My god. Okay, he's down there. He's trapped. Okay, but this is where we've got. Yeah, we have. Yeah. Uh, I did at some point. I did like make it so that this place is a lot safer than it really looks, as long as there aren't like mobs in that main area where the where the um where the ladder goes down. We're pretty safe because there's all these gaps and everything that they can't get through. But yeah, I wasn't I wasn't expecting that guy to be there. Okay. Let's go wall scraping. We're here for this pyrite ore this time. We haven't found any veins of like pure iron, except for that copper that we found not too long ago has a lot of actual pure iron. Um, okay. And let's see. I can just like, as long as it's going downwards, I shouldn't have any risk of a cave-in. And this version is a lot better, or like cave-ins aren't as big of an issue in TerrafirmaGreg compared to normal TerraFirmaCraft because the ores aren't graded. So when there's a cave-in, if it caves in on your ores, it doesn't like, you don't lose anything for it. But I still don't like it when cave-ins happen. Okay. I'm trying to get as much of the iron that I can without having to like start setting up supports or anything. Gonna crawl in here and grab that. Crawling was one of the for some reason it's not a thing in base Terra Firma Greg, but it was one of the first things I added in, but not with the mod I use now. I use Parkour to do all of my movement stuff now, but originally I had like a mod that the only thing it did was add in a crawl key. It's kind of crazy that they don't have it in base Minecraft, considering like how important it is for a lot of stuff. Like, and you can enter into the crawling animation pretty easily. So I don't see why they don't just add it into base Minecraft like a key to start crawling. Yeah, yeah. See, that's exactly what I was talking about. Um, yeah, it's like there's so many. If you watch like any Minecraft YouTube videos that do like vanilla Minecraft, they're almost always doing something that involves crawling. Yeah, the tunnels are real fun. I just like having speaking of tunnels, there was this one mod pack I played. Okay, it was some kind of like it was a steampunk mod pack. So it had a lot of stuff in it. And it had a lot of pretty crazy stuff too, like stuff you wouldn't necessarily expect in a steampunk pack. One of those things was it had this crazy like hardcore mode, and the I was playing with a friend in this and they didn't pick the hardcore mode, they did the normal mode. I picked hardcore mode. One of the things that the hardcore mode in that pack does is make it so that mobs that are neutral to you are hostile to you. And you want to know what kind of mob is typically neutral? It's Endermen. So I was under constant threat of being just assaulted by Endermen all the time. Like they would get a whiff of me and they would teleport right into the workshop, right into our base and just murk me. Oh, hello. And so I started putting like rat tunnels in the base so that if an Enderman ever like popped into existence behind me, that I could just like dive into a rat tunnel and escape them. Because they also can't like exist in they can't walk through areas that are more than they're 3 blocks high. So as long as your area is only 2 blocks high, they can't get to you. But I loved making the entrances to all those places like little ventilation shafts that I would just, as soon as I heard that Enderman teleport sound, I would go diving for the nearest ventilation shaft. It was a fun mod pack though. I don't remember what it's called. I think it might just literally be called like steampunk or something. I'm sure if you looked up steampunk, but that was a fun one because that had I want to say it's like McKay's, the guy who made the furniture mod that's really popular and now apparently has a gun mod as well. Actually, he may have had a gun mod from the start. Now that I think about it, but it had that gun mod pack in it, and so I was going around shooting people. 'Cause it wasn't just the Endermen that were an issue. There was also lots of other mobs that were ready to kill me. And with the hardcore mode restrictions, it like capped the amount of damage you could deal and like made you take more damage. There was a lot of crazy restrictions. You did get stuff later on that would help you like overcome, because it was flavored as like being curses, and there were items later on that would help you overcome some of your curses. Like there was a special item, it was like a book, and if you used that as a weapon, it would be able to deal full damage instead of like I think you were restricted to like half of your normal damage in that pack. But it also came with like lots of flying machines. Oh god. Oh. Still can't control myself with parkour, so sometimes stuff like that'll happen. But let me tell you another thing. You want to know where else there's a lot of normally neutral mods or neutral mobs? The Nether. Zombie Piglin, they were on site. So I did not have a very fun time in the Nether. That was also one of those mod packs where you have to like have a special item to even enter the Nether. You had to have like a some kind of like spirit lantern, or else the Nether was just far too hot for you to even sort of exist in. I'm gonna move these back to where we have the forging area now. Man, I don't think my friend and I stopped playing that mod pack. We didn't get to the end. So I didn't get to, or maybe we did. I don't remember where we ended that mod pack, but I don't think I ever went to the end. Luckily, the good thing with the end though is at least with like Endermen, you can just like do the thing you normally do when you're playing Minecraft, and just like place down a bucket of water, and then they can't get to you. But of course, you can't do stuff like that in the Nether because I mean, zombie piglins don't care, but also you just can't put the Nether down, put water down at all. But yeah, no, it was kind of, it was really comical. It's it was very funny playing that mod pack with like one person being in the normal mode and another person being in the hardcore mode, because I would just get absolutely blasted out of nowhere and there was like nothing my friend could do about it. Upper. Yeah, it's a good mod pack though. It's one of those more like the more high fantasy ones. I tend to not play the adventure mod packs as much, but they're pretty good. I think it was one of those ones that did I think it was a fabric mod pack as well. And I've noticed that like a lot of fabric mods are much more like adventure oriented compared to like the forge mods, which end up being very like factory and automation oriented. So and part of the reason for this, there's a mod in there's a mod for fabric, and I don't know. I last I heard they were working on a forge version of it, but I haven't checked in a while. But there's a mod called Epic Fight, which is really good. And last I checked, it was fabric only, but they may have come out with the forge version by this point. Uh, it just does a lot of things a lot better. I like what I have on this mod pack is better combat, and I like better combat a lot because it kind of fits more with Minecraft's like normal, the base Minecraft combat. Like better combat feels more like Minecraft than Epic Fight, but I feel like Epic Fight is the better combat mod overall. Okay. All right, so we're gonna be doing some iron making here for a bit. Gotta be working the forge. And now, anybody who hasn't seen the power of the Crucible at this point, behold the power of the Crucible. The ability to hold 9 things. It can hold like 3 buckets full of material. I don't have a striker on me. I gotta go back downstairs. We're in the process of moving this stuff, so there's gonna be some more back and forth, but it'll be a lot easier once we're done with the move. Oh, and I need my tongs too for this mod pack. Might as well just take all of this with me. Some of that didn't even need to be down here in the first place and was just being stored down here. Like that spindle. I need to use up that spindle actually. I've got more than enough wool to spin on it. I don't have a roof here though. The issue, I don't have a roof, and that means that I should get the rest of the charcoal. That means that the it's gonna get very hot out here while we're working the forge. Okay, I can put these racks on here. There we go. Yeah, no, that's true. It is unfortunate. I think the Crucible, I don't know if it I haven't tested it because I haven't really done that much, but the Crucible seems to act a little bit differently when it comes to the heat dispersion than the vessels. It feels like the Crucible doesn't have the issue with like the vessel where it does a lot. Like I think the oh no. Okay. Okay. Well, all right. Okay, we'll ignore that. Ah, okay. Yeah, it feels like the Crucible feels like it doesn't have that much as much of a problem as the um is there another fire? No, it's just the forge is brighter. It's not as big of an issue with the Crucible compared to like doing it with vessels. Okay, we're just gonna can you stop? What is even catching on fire? I think it's trying to get either the barrel or one of the tool racks, I think. Oh yeah. I still need to melt that copper anvil. I melted the bronze anvil we had a while back so that I could make the bloomery, but I haven't gotten around to melting the copper one because we actually just have a lot of copper. Yeah, no, I also love the crucible for things like sometimes I'll like fire pottery in the crucible as well just because like if I need a bunch of ingot molds right now, it can do them pretty dang quick. All right, we're gonna fill up a couple more of these. Oops. Yeah, we're gonna fill these up and then we're going to cool off what we have. I got more junk in my inventory again. Oh, I should have well that one's gonna stay in there for now. This is the one thing where I wish we lived in a colder environment. I tend to prefer the warm environment for a lot of its other benefits, but one of the most fun things about living in cold environments is especially during the winter when it snows, you can just take your items and just throw them into the snow to cool them down. there's nothing quite like foraging in cold areas. Because here in this area, I have to worry about things like, oh, it is like 60 degrees. Fahrenheit? No, Celsius. So I got to keep an eye on that before I start actually dying. Okay. Luckily, I've got my burlap clothing on, and that gives me a lot of insulation and reduces my warmth by a bit. So I shouldn't be at risk of dying from heat stroke for a bit. Okay, we can melt some more pyrite dust. See, this is just the stuff that we like scraped off of the walls down there, and we're getting quite a bit of iron from it. I need to move some chests up here for storing stuff while I'm forging, though, because I got a lot of junk in my inventory that's kind of clogging it up. Let's see if I can move some stuff. Some of these tools can go up. Actually, you know what? I didn't need the tongs. Not immediately. Because we're not going to be like pulling... For some reason, you can handle ingot molds no matter what temperature they are. But the second you pick up like a loaf of bread or an ingot, that's when you burn yourself. Oops. 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 I forgot to put charcoal on the fire. Where did my... There one. Oops. Hey, heat back up. I forgot you use up a lot of charcoal doing this because of how much you have to pump the bellows. Okay. Need more heat. Less heat. More heat. Yeah, I mentioned this before, but I do have the heat that you start taking damage turned up a little bit because the default for TerrafirmaCraft is 30 degrees Celsius. Oops. See, that's why I haven't been shift clicking. The default is 30 degrees Celsius, which is only like 85 degrees Fahrenheit. And while I agree that that's pretty warm, I don't think it's start taking damage warm. So I bumped it up to 35, which is closer to 95 Fahrenheit. One of the few changes that I've made to this mod pack that makes things easier for me. A lot of the changes I've made actually make things kind of harder for me. Like the no minimap thing in TerrafirmaGreg. So if any of you are wanting to play this mod pack, have no fear. There is a map and a minimap for base TerrafirmaGreg. You don't have to get rid of it the way I did. Speaking of which, I do have that Atlas mod, and I think we're at the point where we can probably make ourselves an Atlas and start having an actual map. We have plenty of papyrus. And you know what? Now that it's almost summer, we probably can put some more papyrus to grow. I think I think we're gonna end up doing a lot of papyrus in a greenhouse though, because it just gets a little bit too cold here for papyrus. I think the tomatoes are doing well though. I was finally able to find some tomatoes for my garden, and they are kind of like the perfect... I think we did lose some tomatoes in like the dead of winter because it got like a little bit too cold. But other than that, the tomatoes do really well out here. They have a really good range for what they can survive. I'm gonna check, make sure I'm not gonna run out of charcoal again. I'm surprised I haven't been breaking more ingot molds. Normally, these molds break all the time. I wonder... I wonder if that recent update tweaked it a little bit or something. Because they definitely did change some things. And I read through most of the changes and didn't see anything about ingot molds. But maybe I've just gotten really lucky. Okay, we should be... We're close to finishing off this. Man, this is one of the great things about TerrafirmaGreg versus normal TerraFirmaCraft. The fact that the metals are a lot easier to get, because this was like barely any time spent in the mines and we were able to get this amount of iron. I actually have it toned down a little bit because there's a thing where um once you get the steam furnace from Greg Tech, they had it set up, and I don't know if this was like a mistake that they just didn't, because it feels like a mistake, but they had it so that like anything that you put in the furnace would get smelted into a full ingot. So, like, you put any of these dusts, regardless of if it's like actual pure dust or if it's one of these lesser ones that don't make a full ingot, but regardless of which one you put in, it would give you a full ingot out. And I actually disabled the smithing recipes because of that, because I didn't really think that that was I didn't think that was very balanced, because it makes it so that like instead of having to do anything with the crucible, you just shove everything into the furnace. And especially considering you get it at like steam furnace level, I think it was a little bit too early to be able to do that kind of thing. And I think there's other ways of doing it later. Okay, we're gonna end up with quite a bit of iron. Okay, keep going. Yeah, so we're gonna end up with another like 10 ingots out of what we have in the crucible. So we're gonna end up with at least two and a half stacks of 16. It's gonna look really cool once we put them on the ground, though. Okay, almost done. And we didn't even take damage. This burlap clothing is really helping us. We didn't have the burlap clothing the last time we were working, but we have so much jute now. I have almost a full barrel filled with jute that needs to be processed into fibers at some point. So even though our burlap clothing is at 25%, definitely we definitely have more than enough jute to make more. Come on, just a little bit more, Forge. All right. So, you know what? I should have checked if we had one that was partially filled. Oh, oops. I'm pretty sure there was an ingot mold that was partially filled down in that chest, now that I think about it. Oh well. We'll just finish it later. There will always be a need for more iron. Okay, we can... Okay, it's already out of charcoal. Man, I should have gotten this burlap clothing a while ago. Although I think one of the mods actually adds in like a blacksmithing apron that you're supposed to wear because it has like really good insulation or something. You can just make that out of leather, but I've never made it. Okay, but here's the... Ooh, I bet I could like... Oh, I could like place it here, couldn't I? I'm gonna place it all... I'm going to have to take up like half of this here in a second, but I'm gonna place it all down just so you guys can see what the ingot pile looks like when it's stacked really high. Isn't that cool? So cool. But I'm pretty sure the bloomery holds 48. Yeah. And so I can put 24 ingots in. You know, for the longest time, I thought that you had to do 2 pieces of charcoal in the bloomery. That was just like wasting charcoal. Oops. Put one of you back. And 24 pieces of charcoal. And there we go. We have a full bloom in our bloomery. All right, so we got to let that cook for a while. So let's see. What else do we need to do next? I'm thinking we need a coke oven, which is what we need a lot of that iron for. So I'm thinking we make the place where we're going to put our coke oven. These KFC fries are really good. They put like coleslaw on them. Let's see. Okay. We're gonna put the blast furnace back here somewhere. Do I have... I'm gonna go grab some bricks to outline where we're gonna put it. Oh, I should probably check on the animals too. I haven't checked on them in a few days. One of the things we need to do once we get some stuff going and we have some like downtime is replacing all these torches with lanterns. I have tons of olive paste lying around. I just haven't gotten around to processing it because we don't really need the huge amount. Okay, you get food. Any of the young ones that are lacking, and I've really been neglecting these guys. Okay, well, which ones of you haven't been shaved yet? You, and then the baby cow. And then we shave the adults, except for that one that still needs familiarity. Okay. You. There we go. Yeah, I've just been collecting wool this whole time. It's one of those things where, like, wool is another one of those resources that you really need to start processing or, like, making it early. Because you will need more later, and you won't have enough. And it takes a long time for it to be made. Yeah, see, I got 2 stacks of wool balls in here. It's looking good for us. Things are going well for us here. I'm going to be doing a lot of glass making soon anyways, though. I've got to make the... Was it? It was something regarding the... No, I got to make the greenhouse stuff. So I need to make glass so that I can make the greenhouse walls and everything. So when we do that, we'll probably make a bunch of glass lantern, the lantern glass as well, so that we can have lanterns later. I need a path through here at some point. Okay. Um Let's see. I was going to outline a place for our coke oven. So we're going to put like our steam stuff back here where I'll be able to draw water from this section here. And the plan is to remove some of this gravel that we have here and let this water flow down so that we can use water wheels for mechanical power. So let's put, because the coke oven, the creosote from the coke oven is going to get fed into our steam machines, our steam boiler. So I'm wondering if I should put, I think what I'll do is put the place for the coke oven back here. The coke oven takes up a 3x3 area, but we're going to give it a 5x5 area so that we can put stuff around it. 1, 2, 5. If yeah. Yeah, and we'll put our coke oven in here. Oops. Guess I ran out of bricks. Let's grab those limestone bricks because I'm going to use the limestone for here. But actually, we got the rhyolite. Any more rhyolite bricks? We can always take down a boulder if we need to. Okay, stone. See, we have all these andesite bricks that I made at some point, but I don't like the way the andesite looks compared to, like, the rhyolite. Okay, I need my limestone bricks. I'm probably gonna need more. I'm gonna need another round of mortar. We're gonna need to make some more mortar. And I'll take this rhyolite cobble. We're gonna do the rhyolite first. Let's just make all of these into rocks. And this isn't gonna be enough to make a full stack at least. We can always make less than a full stack, but I don't really do that around here. Okay, let's I don't think I have any more rhyolite lying. Actually, I do have quite a bit lying around. Oh yeah, we have more than enough. Okay, so this is gonna be 4 stacks. Just need to get up to 5 stacks. So we need what? 21 more rocks? And we have 32 here. Luckily, I don't ever throw anything out if I can avoid it. Because that's the thing with this mod pack especially, is that you'll always end up finding a use for most of the stuff you collect. Okay, do I have more? Okay, we're gonna make some more mortar. I need to feed my character too. Alright, we're gonna have it like this. That. And I really like the way the limestone looks. Put that in here as well. And this won't be enough to cover this whole area, but it'll be a start. Okay. I'm actually going to move one of these over just in case I want to start doing the coke oven before I get more limestone. Okay. Next thing we need. Iron bloom is still going. Okay. A blast furnace is going to cost us a lot to make. Do that later. All right, we need the coke oven. We need more than just the plates, though. We need these bricks. And I'm going to mark those to make sand. You know what? I should probably go collect some more green sand because I don't like the way that green sand looks. So I try to use green sand whenever I get the chance because I like the way that the other stuff looks more. Because we have some black sand in here, but I want to save that for other stuff. Yeah, I'm just gonna go collect some more green sand. Oh, maybe I should use some of that. Oh well. We gotta collect, we gotta preserve our nice looking resources. I need to move a chest upstairs or I could get some barrels. Barrels are a lot easier to slot into areas, I feel. All right, we'll go out to the ocean yet again. Yeah, finishing this road is still on my list of things to do. I've got to clear out some of the area around the road because those patches where you see there isn't a path, it's because the dirt keeps falling onto the road and removing my paths. It's like it suddenly all of a sudden it'll get the idea that it remembers that it's affected by gravity. So we're gonna have to clear the area alongside the road a little bit. Okay, let's eat our last bowl of soup while we're out here. And we're definitely gonna have to make some more soup once we get back. I need to level off this beach a little bit anyways. I need to build a dock out here. There's so many things. One of the things that I want, I mentioned it yesterday, one of the things I want the most is the clipboard from Create, which we'll be able to get once we get the macerator and the compressor. Just so I can write down everything that I want to do in-game. And then later, eventually, once we get to the medium voltage era, we'll make ourselves a tablet and we'll write everything down on the tablet. Okay. I'm gonna collect this last layer here, and then we'll go back. I know I have like over 100 sand at this point. Yeah, we're gonna have to make some more pumpkin soup once we get back. Get us some more fruit in our diet. I've got to go hunting for soybeans at some point, though. I think they can spawn on our island, but I haven't seen any yet. I need to start processing that. Okay, well, I found this out yesterday, but it will be a while before we get to this point. But you see, the cheese in this pack, we need to make cheese because like cheese is apparently the only way you can get dairy in this pack. Aside from like eggs are dairy. Um, but eggs are kind of annoying to deal with. So you can only get it with like cheese and maybe like I think ice cream you can also use to get dairy. But like in order to make cheese, we need rennet, which we get from animals that we kill. And since we don't end up killing a lot of animals, we end up not having a whole lot of it on hand. So where's my knife? But once we get to like I think it's the low voltage age in this pack, we get a way to like process biomass into rennet. So we won't have to rely on killing animals for it. I don't know why I did that. I've literally got this barrel here so I don't have to jump over that fence, but I keep forgetting about it. I just want to say yet again, I love